Aging is a natural stage of life. Every second of the day, whether you're 25, 45, or 65, you're aging. But there's a lot of lies and misconceptions about aging that you probably believe, and at best, it's probably doing absolutely nothing for your skin, and at worst, it could be ruining it. So today, we're gonna be going through some of the misconceptions, the lies, and things that don't often get talked about when it comes to skin aging. And the first one might make a lot of you guys a little angry, but I'm gonna say it anyway, and it's that skincare alone won't cut it. Notice I did not say that skincare does not work, but a lot of people miss how skincare works. And the best way for me to illustrate this is with this and this. So skin is not just skin, and thank goodness, because we'd all be walking around looking like Slimer from the real Ghostbusters, right? But skin is the underlying tissues. It's bone, it's muscle, it's facial fat. All of these things comprise of the gorgeous faces, you know, like yours, and yours, and yours too, you're all gorgeous and handsome. It is what makes our faces look the way that they look. However, as we age, these things start to dwindle down. There's a loss of facial fat, bone density, you have some muscle laxity. Addressing only the skin part is not gonna address the structure. Now, you can put all your fancy serums, moisturizers, and sunscreens on the skin, and it's gonna make the skin look radiant, make it glow, make it look amazing, but it's not gonna do anything for the structure. And that's where the balloon comes in, that is slowly deflating. This is our face as we age. Like, look, I even put a face on there. Now, you could put a little fancy serum on top, you know what I'm saying? Put some of the serum, mix that in. Now, that's gonna make the balloon, make it look radiant, make it look nice and, healthy and whatnot. But putting this serum on top of this balloon is not gonna help with the fact that it is deflating. So what are we gonna do about the deflating? Now, we can't stop it outright because, the opposite of aging, Now, there's a lot of things that we can do, but first let's talk about the things that we can do at home. So one thing we can do at home is red light therapy. So red light therapy helps with anti-aging. So it does a number of things when it comes to skin. It can help with the skin's elasticity. Now you can think of that as a rubber band and how quickly or not quickly it takes for it to stretch back. Red light therapy also helps with fine lines and wrinkles. It helps with collagen production. Now remember, collagen is the protein in the skin that helps it stay snatched. As we age, after 25, we lose 1% of collagen every year. Me, at the ripe old age of 43, I've lost about 18% of my skin's collagen. And I'm sure you've seen people wearing those red light masks on the internet, or maybe you wear one or your friend wears one, but that's why they're wearing them. And although I first, kind of side-eyed some of these at-home red light therapy devices, I have since learned the science and read some of the studies, and I'm gonna link to some information and some videos that you can look at, for more information so you can, get up on it like me. So now I'm on board and I'll be giving these a whirl, and a shout out to Iris Store, the maker of these Illumina LED face masks and chest masks, which we're gonna talk about in a second, for sponsoring this portion of this video. So the Illumina LED face mask is one of the most powerful at-home LED face masks on the market. It has more LEDs and more facial coverage than their competitors. So like I said, I've been trying these out. I got to try these out before they hit the market, which, they hit the market right now, and I got a code. I'll tell you about that in a second. But I couldn't decide if I just wanted to use the neck and chest mask because, I've been noticing a little turkey, little gobble underneath there now. My mama got it, my auntie had it, my grandma had it, my granddad had it. I'ma get it. It's not bad at all, right? But, we can do a little to, handle her. And then also the other day, and this is a thing about when you're over 40 and like the changes in your face can happen abruptly. Like one day you looking like, okay, she cute. The next day you like, why is my face all the way down there? She's still cute, but why is her face all the way down there? Like, it's jarring sometimes, right? So then I was like, We're gonna do them both. All right, so let me show you what we're working with. My skin texture and tone are good, but I do notice a mid-face laxity that I would like to see what changes the Illumina LED face mask could bring me. I know from family history that my skin texture will be great, but the mid-face will continue to droop, and ditto for my neck. Now, obviously, I can't stop it completely, but I would like to improve the look, so I'm excited to see my results. So the masks are really comfortable to wear. You can wear them while you're doing like your laundry, watching TV, doing the dishes, eating. You know, not with the face mask, of course, but you know, if you got the neck and chest mask on, you know, you could grub. But it's only going to take 10 minutes of treatment 3 to 5 times a week. So, you know, we could do that. So I'm going to give these a whirl. Now, although, you know, I'm 43, you do not have to be over 40 to start using something like this. As a matter of fact, you can start as early as 25 because like I said earlier, that 25 is when we start to lose that 1% of collagen in the skin. I will keep you posted. They say you can see results in 6 to 12 weeks. I'm probably gonna take a little bit longer than that because sometimes I forget to update you on stuff in videos, and then it's like later on I'm like, oh right, but you know, I'm gonna come back and tell you. Use my discount code GRAY25, that's GRAY guys, for 25% off. You can scan the QR code that's on screen right now to buy, or check out the link in my description box. But you know, it's not gonna be this price forever, so you know, don't beat your feet. Now, you also might be like, well, shoot, is red light therapy even for darker skin? And in a nutshell, yes. So the thing that people probably would be concerned about is, you know, can it cause hyperpigmentation? But however, the heat that is transmitted from LED masks does not get transmitted into the skin, which is a common misconception because people think like, oh, you know, that light, the heat, it's gonna heat up and it's gonna, you know, cause hyperpigmentation. That is not the case. So now just like a quick overview, because there are other colors and, you know, the other colors do certain things for the skin. We just talked about red and what red does. Now, when it comes to blue light, there is some concern because blue light, you know, the visible light that comes from the sun is something that can worsen hyperpigmentation such as melasma. However, there is a difference between the way that blue LED works versus the way that blue visible light affects the skin. And I'm gonna leave some links so you can find out some more information about that. But blue light, again, is really amazing for acne treatment. Now, another thing that people don't really talk about too much when it comes to facial aging is the effect that weight loss or gain can have on the skin, particularly after 30. So we just discussed, skin is not just skin. You got the muscle, you got bone, you got facial fat, you know, all of these things work in tandem to make our skin look the way that it does, right? However, as we age, we are losing, those things are declining. You'll have some muscle laxity, bone density declines, there's a loss of facial fat. If you lose a significant amount of weight after 30, you do run the risk of some facial drooping, and it happened to me. Sometime around, I wanna say 2019, 2020. No, it was definitely 2020, because normally when I'm stuck in the house, like if there's a blizzard or something or bad weather, you know, I just wanna stay in the house and eat and just eat and eat and eat. But for some strange reason during the pandemic, during lockdown, I was losing weight. I guess I wanted to stay in like, you know, in fighting shape just in case like the zombie apocalypse came and I had to help, you know, Rick and Michonne and them, you know, get out there and, you know, kill some, you know, anyway. So I lost the weight, diet and exercise. I think one of the main things that kind of helped me was, you know, I stopped eating after 9, 10 o'clock. And then, you know, at that time I was working out with my trainer regularly. So, you know, that really helped. However, once we emerged from, you know, lockdown, I was like, why is my face down here? It's because of the weight loss. So, you know, you're already losing facial fat and, you know, the other things that I mentioned about what happens to your skin as you age. And then when you're losing weight on top of that, it kind of like, it kind of compounds and it can have effect on the way that your face looks. Now, I'm not mentioning this to tell you to not lose weight because obviously you want to maintain a healthy weight because health is wealth. However, these are things that you want to keep in mind that can happen. Now, if you're someone who has been very, very thin all of your life into your adulthood, into middle age, you might want to consider adding on a couple of healthy pounds because, you know, sometimes being very, very thin as we age, and there's a lot of things that happen to our bodies, especially as women, sometimes being very, very thin can have a very aging look to, you know, your face. Now, with the proliferation of Ozempic and GLP-1s, this phenomenon is kind of being talked about a little bit more now. You know, they call it Ozempic face, where you can tell if someone's, you know, done the Ozempic because where you can tell if somebody took a GLP-1 to lose weight because you'll see like where the face looks very gaunt. But that can also happen when you lose weight through diet and exercise as well, which I think you still have to diet and exercise when you take these GLP-1s as well too, but let's move on to the next point. And that is that sun damage is cumulative. Basically meaning you know, that every little bit of sun exposure that you get adds up. So for y'all that be like, oh, well, you know, I have blackout windows in my car and, you know, I stay in a dungeon in the basement of my house 18 hours of the day. And when I come outside, you know, I'm the beekeeper outfit and I very rarely get any sun, and the only time I get sun is, you know, for an hour a day or whatever. Well, guess what? Them little hours a day add up, and they add up over time. And it's kind of like snowflakes in a blizzard. It's like, okay, a few of them, you know, not so bad, but over time that mess is going to add up. So you're going to wear sunscreen. Now, a good majority of you people who watch this channel regularly do wear sunscreen, but you know, we got some people who, you know, stop by, you know, visitors and stuff like that. Or maybe you've been watching this channel for years and somehow you still ain't get the memo to wear sunscreen, but put it on. Put your sunscreen on. But not only that, also you want to practice safe sun, doing things like, you know, trying to stay out of the sun when it's at its most blariest apex typically between 10 and 2. You want to wear big old hats, especially if you're someone with melasma. Oh, especially if you're somebody with melasma, you definitely want to follow some extreme safe sun measures because, you know, melasma gets worsened by the sun. Big hats, sunglasses, sun protective clothing. Try to seek shade as often as possible. Now, you know, the people that be like, oh, well, our ancestors didn't wear sunscreen. Well, of course they didn't wear sunscreen because sunscreen wasn't invented until maybe like 1930 or 40 or something like that. But our ancestors did do things to protect themselves from the sun. Some of them covered themselves in mud. They definitely sought shade. A lot of them wore things that kind of naturally protected them from the sun. And they ain't dealing with the same environment back then that we did now. Plus their life expectancy was not as long as ours. So, you know, roll the dice if you want to. And I think sometimes people think of sun exposure, especially those of us with deeper skin tones, you think like, well, I don't burn, but that's not the only damage that the sun can do to your skin. The sun can worsen pigmentation. Remember, we talked about that with the melasma, especially melasma. But if you have some dark spots that you've been trying to get rid of and you going outside naked with no sunscreen on, you wowin', son. The sun exposure is also accountable for about 89% of the visible signs of premature aging. So, like I said, aging is a natural thing, but why you wanna rush something before it's time? So put your sunscreen on and practice your safe sun. And we're gonna move on to the next point. Yo, the effects that menopause has on not just your skin, but your body definitely does not get talked about enough. Our mamas, our aunties, our grandmas, yo, they had us out here, assed out, y'all. I feel like menopause, this is like this elephant in the room that nobody wants to discuss, but you know, people go through it, but it's just like you hear about the hot flashes, but there are a lot of things that declining estrogen levels, and this is what happens in menopause. As a matter of fact, we start to see declines in estrogen, I want to say probably around like 30, 40, you know, everybody's different, but around those ages, and you're probably seeing some of them now, like facial hairs, the acne. Those are signs of decline in estrogen. And not only that, that mess affects so many systems of the body. Brain fog, like you just be like, I'm afraid of if I get the brain fog system when I go through menopause, because I already don't have an attention span. Like, golly, I'm gonna need a babysitter. But there's the brain fog. There's the heightened cholesterol. Like if you have to be on point with your diet, because one day you can be good and the next day your cholesterol is high as heck. A decline in bone density. Now, well, we talked about the bone density decline in the face, but like your bone starts, that density starts to decline as well. Your sleep is messed up. Your skin starts to thin. Your skin starts to sag. I talked about the facial hairs already, and I talked about the acne. And those are just a few symptoms that happen when you go through perimenopause and menopause. Now, life has a way of being real funny because when you get to your 30s and 40s and beyond, you are probably the most confident you have been in life. Your self-esteem is just rising to the top. And then your hormones go shoo. Your body is like fighting itself at that point. Like you finally up just for your body to be like, nah, we gonna go down. Now, the next thing about facial aging that I feel like doesn't get talked about. Now, there's a lot of things that don't get talked about, but you know, I wanted to keep this video, you know, a little concise or whatever. And you know, jot down your thoughts on some things that you feel don't get discussed enough in the comments. But I also feel like the fact that facelifts last on average like 7 to 15 years. Now, when you think about it though, that makes sense because it's like your body is still still aging. So you're still gonna have the bone density loss and the facial fat loss and muscle laxity and, you know, like all of these things, the collagen loss, blah, 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 blah. So it makes sense. But when I watch a lot of plastic surgery channels here on YouTube, but when I heard that, matter of fact, did I hear that the facelifts only last that long from, I don't think I heard it from a channel. I forget where I heard that from, but yeah, look it up. 7 to 15 years. However, that doesn't mean that like, you know, at the stroke of midnight, you're gonna turn back into a pumpkin with your facelift. You're not gonna go back to baseline, but you know, you are going to have those facial changes, which just goes to show you that there's not just one thing you can do to, you know, improve your looks. Now, a lot of people are like, oh, that's so vain, this and that and the third. Like, shut up. First of all, shut up. No, but second of all, the thing is, you feel so good when you get to these ages in your 40s, and there's women who in their 50s and beyond who are like, oh my God, like I've never been this confident, or I've never been this or that and the third, or this assertive, right? But it's like you want the way you feel on the inside to match how you look on the outside. And like I said, because of things like declining estrogen and, you know, other factors, in your 40s and 50s, some of these facial changes happen like damn near overnight. I was talking to someone who, I think she's either just turned 50 or she just turned 51, and she could pinpoint the exact time in her 40s when she noticed that her face changed. Like, imagine that. Like, come on. So, like I said, there's not one particular thing that you can do. Like, even after you get a facelift, obviously you still have to do your skincare routine. Good idea to, you know, keep the skin and all of that. Keep up with your facial treatments, you know, see a Skin of Color Pro, you know, that sort of thing. Think of it as like a car, right? So you get a car, you can't just put gas in it and the car's gonna last you for, you know, years and years and years. Like the car I have now, I got it in 2015. It'll be 10 years old next year. And the car looks amazing. It runs well because I was taking care of it. You can't just put gas and get an oil change. There's so many things you have to do. You gotta rotate the tires. You gotta change the tires. You might need a tune-up. You gotta change the cabin air filters. You gotta clean all that gunk out. You gotta change the battery. Sometimes you need to flush things in the engine and whatnot. Like, you gotta keep maintaining this thing if you want it to look good, you know, for years and years to come. And for skin, it can feel like a lot, but that is why I am here on this channel. Not only do I bring my great personality and wit, but I also bring experts on this channel to help us navigate through this thing. So, you know, make sure you are subscribed to this channel. I'm close to 200,000 and we can get there. Well, not close, but you know, we can get there. Now, to find out more about maintaining your skin after 25, see, this is one of those amazing videos that you get here on this channel. Definitely check out this video here where I talk about 16 micro anti-aging beauty habits that will change your life. Click on this video here and I'll see you there.